Hello friends! I spotted this game Vomitoreum on the Steam store a while back. It features art inspired by the Polish horror artist Zdzisław Beksiński. Sorry for the pronunciation, Polish bros. I jumped right into some spooky music, having apparently just risen from the dead in a crucifix coffin. I could tell already that this game was going to have a religious mythos, a crucifixion if you like. I then found my first save mason, whose bell made a tingling noise despite clearly being made of stone. After proceeding further past the mason, I found a gun and started climbing a great elevator before emerging in a place called the Grave Factory. Whether this means that this is a factory that makes graves, or it's just a regular factory where everyone is extremely serious all the time, I wasn't sure. As opposed to the save mason I just met, waiting here was a fellow calling himself the last mason. He told me that he was the last one, despite the fact I just met one of his friends, because all the other masons I would encounter have calcified, as opposed to this guy who was clearly 0% calcium. Anyway, he told me that he'd shepherd me towards my fate, and that two people called Uma Dermadine and Concubath have abandoned everyone. Apparently, I was created to fight an unholy infection that was visited upon this land by an evil entity named Vomitoreum, and rather than simply allowing people to exit the theatre when a play was done, this Vomitoreum had turned all the humans in the world into hideous monsters, and I needed to find a sword called Seraphim, and something or someone called Eve, and a Bible for all this Christian imagery. Yeah, just kidding on that last one. After my conversation with my stony tour guide, I went further into the structure and found a dark hole packed with fists. So I was definitely in a grave factory or a BDSM rave. Probably the latter, because the next room had an anteater in a gimp suit, and I guess I forgot the safe word because he immediately started attacking me. With the anteater dispatched, I found a room with Andre the blacksmith from Dark Souls. He reminded me that I'm not human, and then gave me a gauntlet with 4 fingers and a thumb. He told me that I can improve my punch ability with it if I found something called a pristine ore, but I was unlikely to find anything pristine in this world, I thought, so I went onwards to test the gauntlet on some Minecraft blocks, behind which was hidden a max HP boost. Nice. Past some more Minecraft blocks, I emerged out to a waterfall area, which eventually led to a place called the Fungal Marshland. On the one day I'd forgotten to bring my Veruca cream. At first, this place seemed fairly pleasant, just a bit of sightseeing and platforming. But eventually I walked through the wrong door and encountered a spindly quadruped with empty eye sockets, as one does. Unlike with the Gimp Anteater, I didn't decide to wait and see if this fellow was friendly. He was guarding an embryonic battery, which is different to a normal battery because A, it's spherical, and B, it's made with dead babies. I continued my journey through the Mushroom Kingdom with a few more firefights along the way, until I came across a Crusader. He was pretty persistent in trying to convert me to the word of the Lorditorium, but my enlightened atheist aura and gun of science prevailed. My prize was a shiny new pair of boots which gave me the ability to dash. With my fist out. I think that Anteater would have had an interest in this skill. Anyway, with my new ability, I managed to bag myself another max HP upgrade, and with that I made my way back to the factory. After finding a save mason and another mashed baby battery with the new dash, I eventually found my way to another door which had a platforming section hidden behind it. On the other side of the chasm was a hole too small for me to get through, which made me check the controls to make sure I wasn't missing a crouch button. But I wasn't missing anything, so I kept exploring and found a Nazi orc who was presumably doing something unspeakable with the so-called fetal soul he was guarding. Behind the hole, I found a room full of what I can only describe as the world's most haunted foreskins, who were covering the tip of an area called the Concrete Heart. Makes sense, I guess, a lot of men keep their heart in their pants. My girlfriend is always telling me that books are the key to her heart, so it also makes sense perhaps that I found a library a little way further in. Not so sure how the flame-throwing plague doctor behind the next door links up to the theme, but like all good plague doctors, he exploded into flames when I killed him. Behind some broken drainage bars, I found a Nazi orc nest, though they weren't difficult to dispatch. They were guarding 2 cars and a lumber mill saw? Oh, I see. Planed wood, trainee Nazis and automobiles. Anyway, after whizzing around this area for a bit, I found a sort of secret area. I haven't shown it in the vid yet, but that blue water kills you if you fall in it, so getting this max HP boost was quite tricky. After getting the secret HP boost, I couldn't find anywhere else to go though, so it was time to retrace my steps. I went back through the library, the Fungal Marshland, the Grave Factory, but I couldn't find the way. I was lost. How could this game hide the next path from me? This was so annoying. I hate it when games make you backtrack and search high and low for... Oh, right, there was a door right there all along. Behind the door, I found a highway and a town for midgets. Clearly a prime real estate location, this quaint little hamlet had a lively alt-right orc chapter, an HOA that mandated baggy fleshless dogs only, so, you know, no poop, and a romantic river of tortured bodies running right through the centre. I decided I wanted to put down a deposit to move in right away, so I rushed off to meet with the mayor, who turned out to be an abominable horror of trapped souls contorted into a hero hell shape. Typical. He quite rudely almost killed me, but those max HP boosts just about kept me alive. I decided not to purchase any of his property though, and after admiring the decor in his office, I stole his World War II shotgun and continued on my merry way in fetal form through a secret passage, which it turns out led me all the way back to the Grave Factory again, which I'd just come from because I'm an idiot and got lost. Eventually, I doubled back to the Nazi town to find another passageway that led me to a precipice guarded by some eggies on leggies. I'd apparently found a place called Pilgrim's End, though I hoped it wouldn't be the end of my pilgrimage. Pilgrim's End mostly consisted of cliffs and precarious platforms, which were quite fun to whiz around on with my fisting dash power. I felt like a dragon flying around, which was appropriate for what I'd find behind the next door. This scaly sentinel had a party trick of pulling eggs out of his own open gash and hurling them at me, which seemed quite unpleasant, but I'm pretty sure I've seen some feminist art that was similar. He also had fire breath, which I feel is really 2000 and late for dragons by now. It's 2023 and not all dragons have to breathe fire, bigots. Some of them just want to hoard gold, and that's fine. But if we were going with outdated things, then so be it, and I let my 1990s FPS skills take over, circle strafing the creature for a good 2 minutes until it died. After it was defeated, I quickly healed up, dodging one of its holdout remaining sentient egg things, and sought my prize, a double jump. Now I can fist dodge and double jump all over the mountainous map for maximum maneuverability. I went back outside to try it out and encountered another lost relic of the bygone shooter era. The invisible wall. Yeah, these movement mechanics were probably going to get me killed a lot. But also, secrets. But also, getting me killed a lot. After a bit more whizzing around, I found another slightly hidden passage replete with more orcs and a couple of Gimp Anteaters, except these guys were definitely a bit tougher than the ones I'd fought earlier. In fact, getting inside this cave was a genuine challenge and probably the closest I've come to death so far. The game was definitely getting harder. I fought my way in though to find a lava cavern. The blue water in this game kills you if you touch it, but apparently lava is just an uncomfortable tickle. It took me a good couple of minutes to work out that I could sail on a river of molten rocks, but I eventually got comfortable being a magma mariner. I was definitely heading deeper into the bowels of... Wait, where was I again? It's pretty hellish here, so I'm going to call it Slough. After going further and further down underground, I emerged once again into a place with a sky, apparently, but whatever, don't think about it, I guess. This place was all crisscross anyway. And speaking of crosses... Yeah. This prawn from District 9 was apparently responsible for something. The Russian on the wall says his fault. Maybe this guy was responsible somehow for Vomitoreum infecting everyone, or maybe he was responsible for killing this dead mason on the floor, or maybe he forgot to make something for the annual creepy crawly creature bake sale. At any rate, the next door led me back to the start, which was a cool bit of circularity. I went and saved my progress and then made my way back using my newly acquired double jump and dash abilities. In the next area, I found a switch that needed shooting, which opened up a door at the end of a bridge. I whizzed through an ominous corridor with red lights culminating in a save mason. If that's not video game code for boss fight ahead, then bend me over a Nazi orc slap and big dragon. I saved the game and ascended the ominous elevator of impending doom at the end of the ominous corridor of ominous red lights. And at the top, I found... Ornstein and the Horse Sisters of Cogubeth. Honestly, I think this is the only time in history that I've wanted to fight off two Horse Sisters, but that was the challenge laid before me. Quite a challenge it was, actually. One of them chased me around with a pair of cleavers and a giant tongue, whilst the other cast spells at me with... Horse Sisters. Oh god, those aren't eyes. But yeah, this one actually took me quite a few attempts. In retrospect, I actually think I found this boss fight sooner than I was supposed to, but that's the nature of an open-ended Metroidvania for you. However, eventually I learned all the attack patterns and nailed those whores. They left behind a golden vibrate, a shotgun, and a hollow dog, which I'm not even going to joke about, because honestly, I genuinely honestly think that's a pretty dope character design. He told me to climb inside his hollowed out skin, whispered, "Let me do it for you," and returned me to the switch below. Turns out he could take me back up again though if I wanted, so I wondered, is there something else up in that boss arena? A secret passage lined with that deadly blue water. There was obviously a super secret right around the corner. Well, fuck. At least I beat the Horse Sisters though, and I saved after... Wait, where's my golden shotgun? And where's the hollow dog? I was really hoping that this elevator was still functional, even if you'd already completed the boss fight, and that maybe my new dog friend had just gone off to have his din-dins and piss on a tree. So I crossed my fingers and prayed that when I got to the top I wouldn't see those two salty succubi once again. Please, 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 please. So yeah, this again. Just like in my real life, I keep coming back to the same two whores. But I guess seeing the same client repeatedly gets tedious for whores too, because they let me finish a lot quicker this time. And just like a good prostitute, I'm going to leave you wanting more as well, so come back for part 2 of my aphrodisiacal adventure soon.